This is the Codcast. All things Whitby Town FC.
Yes, hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Codcast with me, Andrew Snaith, and I'm very pleased to say I'm joined by Liam Ryder from the Whitby Town media team, and we wait a few weeks for Whitby Town to sign some new players, and then 4 come along in the space of 3 days, Liam.
Yeah, it's been very productive, very busy, particularly for Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram. I'm sure I'm very relieved that some players have now started to commit to the club for the season, and ultimately, as you'll hear later on in a lot of their interviews, really buy into this project that they're trying to work on, which ultimately starts with a rebuild of the squad. But they're all coming out the same, and saying the right things about what they want to achieve with the club, and they're definitely coming here for the right reasons. So that's really promising. I mean, we've seen this week a good variety of players, different stages of their careers, if you like. Leon Gibson-Booth, the first one that of course came in towards the back end of last week. Young 19-year-old, most recently of Cleethorpes Town. But already got a very good bank of clubs that he's represented, particularly in the NPL. And more importantly, I guess, the NPL Premier Division, which is ultimately what we need experience at. So for someone of a young age, really good that we've got him in, and he's committed. And then, we've got a few more as well. 2 more experienced players, if you like, that have come from a different neck of the woods. I know Denny Ingram particularly found these 2 in Sam Kerr and Marley Grant. But they're 2 very experienced players. Sam Kerr has got experience at this level. Marley Grant less so, but he sounds like he's certainly worth a gamble on, with the pedigree and the statistics he's got in the lower leagues and even the NPL East as of last season. So really good there. And then of course the most recent one, Lucas Reed, another young player, but yet again pretty experienced for his age. So we'll come on to, I'm sure, discuss them a bit more individually later in the show. But really productive, and really just good to see at last start to get somewhat of a team together.
Indeed, I think a lot of Whitby fans have had their minds put to rest, and we're not going to, as Bully put it last week, introduce the trialist family for that first friendly up at Mask United on the 4th of July. So let's do this in chronological order. Yes, it all started over the weekend when Leon Gibson-Booth signed for the Blues, and he caught up with Liam.
Well, Leon, first of all, welcome to Whitby Town. You've had a good look around the ground this evening. What are your first impressions?
Oh, really nice ground, yeah. I've been here a few times, so I know what it's like, but it's good to see the place when it's got no fans in and stuff. I've just taken it all in out there. It's been really good, yeah.
Yeah, and, for a young lad, very experienced in non-league football, played at National League Law for a good while, and of course, very experienced in the NPL coming from Cleethorpes Town. So, I'm sure you won't feel phased at all by the level.
No, I've been at a few clubs at this level. So I was at Scarborough last year and York, but I've been at Morpeth Town and obviously Cleethorpes one towards the back end of the season. So quite familiar with teams, and obviously played here quite a few times. So
yeah, and you've probably seen quite a bit of a rebuild going on at Whitby Town this summer as well. But a few new players already announced, a lot of youngsters in there. But are there any players so far, Stan Gill and Charlie Stern, that perhaps come across before?
Yeah, I played with Stan at Brid. I was at Brid for a little bit, so I played with him. Good player, but I've heard of the other ones, but can't wait to see him, to be fair, because I've heard good things.
Yeah, and in terms of what Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram have said to you as well, what sold at the Whitby Town's right club for you, right?
I think just the excitement of the new project and of what's going on with all the young players and that using it as stepping stone, and it's just a great club in general, so it was a bit of a no-brainer in that sense.
Yeah, and of course you played quite a key role in the last game of the season here for Cleethorpes in that one there. You mentioned it beforehand about the atmosphere feeling a bit weird. I'm sure you hope it'd be much more positive towards this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been here before when it was a really good atmosphere. Every time I've been here, it's been really good atmosphere. The fans get behind the players, and it's something that you look at as a player when you come to a new club is what can the fans do, and every time they're so supportive. So I can't wait to see them all and get playing.
And what would you say really are the aims that Bully and Denny have given you as a squad going to the new season?
Just play as many games as you can, always give 100%, and that's something I carry with me anyway, to be honest. So I just can't wait to get playing and just give 100% every week, and hopefully just do my best for them.
Yeah, and in terms of your role in the team as well, what would you sort of say is your best position? I know quite a bit of versatility there.
Yeah, I can play a few different positions, but I'd probably say maybe left of the back three or left back probably. Probably say they're the best two, but can also play left wing back or left centre half in a four. So probably anywhere, to be honest, but I'd probably say they're the best two.
Yeah, and of course now a couple more weeks rest and then we're straight back into it for pre-season. The first friendly on the 4th of July. But before that, what sort of plans have you got in terms of getting yourself into full fitness?
Just doing the little bits what I can, to be honest. Obviously, just doing like one-to-one sessions and just doing the most I can in the gym and just to get myself ready for when that first pre-season game comes and just to make sure I'm ready and can give it my all.
Yeah, and I guess as well moving to the season as well, obviously the league, that'll be one thing to get a lot better, but also a real chance in the cup competitions as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to enter. There'll be a few cup games as well, which I want to play in all the games, so hopefully the cup ones will have a good run.
Yeah, and then just finally, really, like I say, it is a rebuild, but at the same time, I guess you sort of feel confident in the fact that you've been one of the first players who actually managed to win it.
Yeah, it's always nice feeling, and obviously speaking to them, I've got plans for a few more players, so I'm sure it'll be a really good rebuild, and I can't wait to get started.
The Codcast, all things Whitby Town FC.
That's Leon Gibson-Booth speaking to Liam as he became the first of the four that were signed over the last few days. Of course, National North experience just down the road at Scarborough Athletic as well. So good pedigree for him, left-sided defender. And then we move on to the trio who signed over the last 48 hours as we record on Tuesday night. Let's start off with Sam Kerr, the former Stocksbridge midfielder who caught up with Liam.
Well, Sam, first of all, welcome to Whitby Town. I'm sure you're delighted to finally got the move completed and actually have a look around the ground this afternoon.
Very nice, very good setup. I've been down here last year. Pitch was immaculate and it still is now, so ready to go. Ready to play on a decent pitch.
Yeah, and I was mentioned about the ground there, but what else do you feel sort of makes you feel that Whitby Town's the right club for you at this stage of your career?
Place, it's one of my favourite places in the UK to come to visit. Sometimes, a couple of times a year with the missus and everything. So it's just a really good place to be and it's ready to go.
Yeah, and quite a few MPL clubs you've been at before as well. Cleethorpes Town, Stocksbridge, Pontefract. So how do you feel they've sort of shaped you as a player?
It's a lot of experience, to be fair. I've been in different changing rooms, different environments, obviously meeting different people and becoming friends with them. And I just think another step to Whitby, to play for Whitby, just be even better for my development as well.
Yeah, and
still got a lot to offer.
Yeah, and how would you sort of describe yourself as a player to supporters that haven't seen you play?
I like playing with a bit of freedom, using my energy, quite fast. I just want to get forward, get back box to box, and just everything got shifting for the lads.
Looking back at your career today as well, you've had sort of a mixed bag of being quite tough at Stocksbridge last season, I imagine. But what would you say sort of been your standout moment so far?
I had a good end of the season when Bridlington about 2 years ago. Managed to stay up and whatever, we had a good little run in. So that was a good time of my career. But I think looking back, when I was at Codcast, I was on the come up, not many people had known about me. It was a good season, and Dicko and Tim Lowe at Cleethorpes took a chance on me, and ever since then I've just progressed a bit the last 3 years.
Yeah, and that reference, as much as there have sort of been, a bit of a mixed bag in terms of sort of your fortunes at other clubs, but what would you say you've learned about sort of the MPL and particularly the MPL Premier Division?
Step 4, MPL Division 1, tough league, but then coming up to step 3 last season, there's no gimmies. Every team's strong, got good players, fit, they're good on the ball, so very, very good standard, very tough league.
Yeah, and what sort of things have Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram said to you as well in terms of your role for the season?
They just want me to come in, and Denny knows a lot about me. Obviously played under him, he backs me, trusts me, and he knows how to get the best out of me, the way he manages. And he's just said, just use your energy. We want you to be free. Obviously, when going gets tough, we don't want you to sit in and defend, but go and express yourself. So that's what I want to do for him and work hard for him, everybody.
Yeah, and very much an overhaul in terms of the squad as well at the moment. You've probably seen a lot of departures, a few new incomings, but I guess that's sort of exciting, the fact you're sort of part of this new generation.
Yeah, definitely. New people, and I can talk to artist leagues. I can get on with anybody, so I'm looking forward to meeting new people and new friendships and squad now. A squad of 15, 16 we're going to bring in, so we're just going to work together and see where we can go, see where we can finish the season.
Yeah, and then just finally, obviously being up to the ground today, but in terms of, on a match day, I'm sure the next thing's really looking forward to starting playing in front of the Whitby fans again.
Yeah. When I came down, it was first game of last season on Tuesday night. Long journey up. Yeah, can't wait to go in, meeting all the fans and people in the committee and whoever's involved.
This is the Codcast.
Sam Kay speaking to Liam over at the Tobar Express Stadium. Yes, out on the pitch. I mean, they've been commenting on the ground very favourably, Liam, as you'd expect. The carpet out there, I think they're all chomping at the bit to get out onto the Turnbull turf.
Yeah, certainly are. I mean, I'm sure Darren Fowler, the Gramser, wouldn't approve of that, particularly on Sunday. But you've got to bear in mind as well that these are players that come in to have a look around the ground that in part is a building site at the moment. A lot of work going on the pitch. Obviously, it's now out of bounds. No one can really go on it other than a light cut every so often. But yeah, I think, some of them, particularly Sam Kerr, reflecting on when he came at the first home game of last season with Stocksbridge, complimented what he can remember there about the surface being immaculate, I think it was he worded it as. But yeah, I think, from a media point of view as well, I'm really liking the fact that Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram are making, a point of trying to get as many players as possible actually down to visit the ground, because it means we can do so much more, get in-person interviews, which we much prefer doing, get good photos as well. So yeah, it's really good, and ultimately for the players as well, a chance for them to actually look around where they're going to be calling home for the next season at least. So yeah, it's really good, and I suppose it's really that can be used as a selling point for players, isn't it? And I know that some of them probably spoke to players perhaps that have actually departed this summer, but they've put a word in saying that it's a good place to go and play your football, especially if you're one of those players that thrives on a good surface. So yeah, absolutely. I think they're really complimentary of what they've seen so far, and like I said, that's with it being a bit of a building site at the moment. So even better when they come in pre-season and everything's looking immaculate on and off the pitch.
Quite right. Let's move on with Marley Grant, an addition to the forward ranks.
Marley, first of all, welcome to Whitby Town. What are your sort of initial thoughts after joining?
Excited, to be fair. Speaking to the gaffers, them to play style of football that I thrive off, high energy, attacking football. Pitch looks like a carpet. Just excited to pitch this season.
Yeah, and you're coming here as well on the back of a really sort of impressive couple of years in terms of your goal scoring. Do you feel that you'll have it sort of, be able to adapt to this level easy enough?
I hope so. It's a challenging, good test, and I don't run away from it. So I'm going to get my head down off the pitch as well as on the pitch and just listen every moment I can. And see if I can mark my top or not. So.
Yeah, and obviously as well as being given the chance to play at a higher level, what other things have Denny and Bully sort of said to you that just convinced you this is the right move for you?
I think it'd just be stupid enough. I'd be stupid if I didn't take the opportunity to play at this level. Class teams, class players, playing in front of hundreds of fans instead of as crazy as it sounds. So I'm excited for it, and the energy from fans I feed off as well. I love playing in front of crowds, shushing people when they're getting on your back and stuff like that, and that's what I feed off.
Yeah, and you've already sort of alluded to it, but you like that fast sort of attacking play. Would you say that describes your personal style of play as well?
Attacking, forward thinking, aggressive on the press. Just attacking football, pinning teams to their own halves and stuff like that. That's the way I like to play.
Yeah, and just looking at the other players that have already been bought in, do you know much about sort of the end of ones yet, or is it kind of a case of going into training and sort of getting to know their games a bit?
Obviously, Sam Kay played with since we were probably teenagers.
Yeah.
14 years old. Played together in Sunday League clubs and stuff like that. Played with him a lot through my career. So I know there's my energy in the midfield and stuff like that. He's a great runner, great ball. He gives everything every game, and that's how both of us kind of play. Give everything every game.
Yeah, and I guess I probably don't know the answer to this question, but as a striker, but what sort of ambitions have you set yourself for this season? Yeah, nice and simple. Obviously, in terms of playing lower down the pyramid traditionally, but what sort of things are you looking to sort of develop in your own game whilst playing here?
Taking the chances, the half chances that I can get. I'm going to take Cleethorpes chances. I could do that combos. Half chances when we're under the cosh and we need that goal out of nowhere. That's what I want to provide. That's what I want to try and master this year. Clinical edge chances that can win us the game 1-0 when we're not at our best on that day.
Yeah, and then just finally, really, like we said, I've already sort of looked at the ground on an empty day. I don't know if you've played it before. So it's been a chance now. I bet the next thing's really just looking forward to getting here, especially for the league season, in front of some real big crowds of some of the clubs that come to the league as well.
Yeah, excited to go. Like I said, it looks like a carpet. It looks like we can play football. It's a big pitch as well, so on the ground for most of it.
This is the Codcast.
That's Marley Grant speaking to Liam on his signing this week. Yes, he's going to be leading the line, all playing out wide. Versatile player from another from that sort of South Yorkshire, West Yorkshire area. And also, as Liam said earlier, Lucas Reid putting pen to paper, defender or midfielder. And he spoke to Liam as well.
Well, Lucas, first of all, welcome to Whitby Town. How pleased are you to be here and know where you're going to play for next season?
Yeah. I'm delighted to get this over the line after speaking to Denny and Bully. I'm excited about the new project, and I think everyone's got something to look forward to.
Yeah, looking at it from the outside, Whitby, of course, very established club at this level of football, but obviously a bit of a scare last year, so I'm sure you're looking forward now to sort of really starting afresh with a new squad here.
Yeah, always kept tabs on this league, and I've seen that down there last year. I have a couple of friends who play here, especially last season. And they should never be down there. It's too big of a club. I'm sure the squad that gets brought in will make sure that we're nowhere near that this season.
Yeah, and coming through the academy system at Middlesbrough, how much you sort of learn about senior men's football from there?
Yeah, I love my time at Middlesbrough. It was brilliant. I was there for about 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it was great experiences to move into senior football.
Yeah, and what do you feel it's about Whitby Town that sort of convinced you this was the right club for your next step in football?
Just kind of speaking with the manager, he spoke about the club really highly, and obviously I go back and say about the project that's going on here. And I've played against Whitby before when I was at Blythe, and it was a very well-drilled side. I think they ended up beating me 1-0 on the day. I really struggled in that game. Whitby were a really good side.
Yeah, and you've experienced, I've already mentioned the academy side of things, but just talk a bit about your spell in Gibraltar. What sort of things do you learn from there?
Yeah, that, like I say, it was a big jump for someone who was 18 coming out of Camp 1 Academy. I had an old manager over there who brought the idea to us, and I grabbed it with 2 hands. I ended up doing about 2-3 years over there. Style of football was a bit different. A lot of relaxed, keeping the ball short, and very hot weather, very, very hot weather. But yeah, that gave us another experience in playing a different kind of football, playing against teams that are in the Champions League qualifiers, Europa League qualifiers. Overall, it was a great experience.
Yeah, and just on about experience as well, you've already mentioned about Blythe Spartans there, as much as that was a very difficult season for them as a club. I guess in a way it sort of makes you better learn from those experiences.
Yeah, like I say, another great club, Blythe Spartans. Some very, very good people at that club, and I'm glad that they're on the way up. From what it looks like, they've kind of established things and stabilised from where they were when I spent my time there. But yeah, I'm really thankful for that club.
And in terms of people that perhaps don't know much about your sort of playing style, how would you describe yourself to Whitby Town supporters?
Yeah, so midfield player, attacking midfield player. I love to get on the end of things and make things happen, and hopefully I can provide plenty of goals and assists. Sliding people in, I do love to beat players and spray the ball about.
Yeah, and I guess that sort of leaves the next question really about sort of your main strengths. I guess you've kind of sort of covered them there.
Yeah.
So in terms of what Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram have said to you, what sort of excites you most about the role you've been given for the club this season?
Yeah, just kind of giving us a platform. Really getting in the 11 and kind of.
Yeah, and just finally, you're still early in your career, but do you feel this is a really important step for you, the fact that you've sort of been given that chance to really develop your game?
Yeah, I'm really thankful for being again. I think it's a great place for me to go and play my stuff and show pretty much everyone I do.
The Codcast, all things Whitby Town FC.
That's Lucas Reid catching up with Liam on his signing. He's got some real pedigree as well, Liam. Another one that's come through the youth setup at Middlesbrough. I know Frankie Whelan knew him well, so presumably playing in that same team up there on Teesside. Bodes well.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think well regarded in his time at Middlesbrough. As is often the case in these academies, it's a very sort of select few that actually make it through to the first team. But about the sounds of Lucas Reid was a player that was sort of perhaps on the brink of maybe making that break. Unfortunately, didn't pan out that way. But yeah, very interesting background he's got. Yet again, quite experienced, got good non-league experience. Played at Blythe and most recently Wickham. But then as well, a spell out in Gibraltar, a couple of spells actually, out there and done really well, which, you'll have heard an interview there that I think he really enjoyed it out there. And what's interesting as well with Lucas Reid is the fact that he almost referenced as well the fact that he nearly dropped out of football altogether. But good to see him now back on the rise. And to me, he sort of screams early on as an example of a player that can really use Whitby Town as sort of a platform to get back to his best. And hopefully kick on from there. I mean, it'd be nice if we can get the best out of him. Of course, it would be. But if he then goes higher, then fair play. And I think that's sort of part of the pull of the club. And I know that's what Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram are making a big point of saying. I know supporters may not want to hear it, but ultimately, we can sort of come to Whitby Town as a chance to really develop your game, and we won't stand in your way, which I get that's frustrating for supporters, but at the same time, it's a good example of the club. The fact that we're able to give players the confidence in us as a club, to then go and then push on and develop their own careers. So we won't stand in his way there. But yeah, looking at him initially, looks like a real sort of smart signing, young but also well built enough and experienced enough, I feel, to cope with the level. And as much as yes, he's been involved in relegations, unfortunately, at Blythe Spartans, sometimes they sort of shape you as a player. That's gone back a couple of years now, so hopefully he's really learned from those tough experiences and hopefully can be part of a more sort of productive Whitby Town side this season.
That's right, and you may be wondering where the dulcet tones of Paul Connolly have gone to. Well, he's swapped the Matterhorn for Whitby Town Matters, recorded from Zurich Airport. International flavour here. Paul Connolly, he gave his view on those four signings.
It's been a busy week, hasn't it, in terms of Whitby Town? I've enjoyed sort of watching all of that news sort of come through and break while I've been over in Switzerland. So yeah, looking forward to being back on the show next week to discuss more, I'm sure. But yeah, in terms of those signings so far, those three that have come in the last day or two. Starting with Lucas Reid, again he knows the level. He's got a little bit of experience. Obviously, former Middlesbrough man. He comes highly recommended by players that have played with him at Middlesbrough. Very productive player. Likes to create opportunities. So I think he'll add a real sort of creative element to Lee Bullock's side. Obviously Marley Grant as well in an attacking sense. He's been around a little bit and he's got that experience. 27 years old now. He's direct. He's pacey. He's again another very positive sort of attacking option coming in after 3 years at Sherwood Colliery. And then Sam Kay as well. Obviously, he was at Stocksbridge last year. He's played at this level, part of that Pontefract team that just missed out in the playoffs in the division below last year. And there was a good Pontefract team as well that he was a part of. So, he'll bring obviously experience in the middle of the park. He knows the level. He knows what it's all about. He knows what's required, and he'll strengthen those middle areas. So yeah, it's starting to come together and feel like we're getting a squad together on paper. Lee Bullock, Denny Ingram, both working very hard to ensure that squad goes from sort of 7 or 8 to 9, 10, 11 in the coming days, weeks, the next couple of months, of course. But yeah, note as well for Frankie Whelan leaving the football club. I think, over the last 2 years, Frankie's been absolutely outstanding. He's a colossus at the back. He'll head anything, he'll kick anything, he'll have a battle, he loves a grapple. And yeah, obviously, it's sad to see him go. We've known for a couple of weeks that he was going. It was announced a few weeks ago. Obviously, now we know he's joined Spennymoor Town. He's going to be playing higher up the divisions, which, is credit to him and fully deserved. He's worked hard over the last couple of years. And I think it's worth saying that, with Frankie, he's, his commitment and dedication was exemplary, especially that sort of last game of the season against Cleethorpes. He came into the squad. He wasn't fit. He was having real trouble with his hamstring, and he said to me after the game it was about falling off. But he went out there and he did his job, and he put himself on the line for the club to ensure the football club stayed in the division. And I can't thank him anywhere near enough for that. It's that's the sort of dedication and commitment that we want to see at Whitby Town Football Club. So yeah, a massive good luck to Frankie. He's earned his opportunity, and knowing the lad he is and knowing the player he is, I'm pretty sure he's going to take it.
This is the Codcast.
That's Paul Connolly, live from the Departure Lounge, back in Britain, probably by the time we've got this online. Just like ourselves, optimistic with those signings. Liam, we're going to finish things not with booster budget, but with a World Cup fundraiser.
Yes, absolutely. So this is something that supporters may have seen advertised on social media quite a bit over the last few weeks. Just a bit of fun, really, that we're sort of doing through a third party, if you like, but ultimately all the funds going towards Whitby Town. So yeah, just a bit of a fundraiser, really. Actually closes on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, which is, of course, the day that the World Cup gets underway. That first match, Mexico against South Africa. But essentially, it's just a sweepstake, £10 per entry. You can have as many entries as you want. So, nothing sort of too strenuous on the finances, just ultimately a bit of fun, a chance to support the club with a bit of financial backing, and then ultimately compete against fellow supporters and being a chance of winning some fantastic prizes. So essentially, yeah, you get 8 teams to choose from for each of the seeded pots, and you can just randomise it, as I did. I entered, I couldn't really be bothered choosing because whoever I choose usually goes and fails miserably anyway, so I thought let's just let the powers that be decide that.
You didn't get England, did you, Liam? You didn't get England.
No, I didn't. So that's a good start.
Thank God.
But yeah, basically, you'll sort of get points throughout the tournament in the group stage, and then ultimately, I think really once you get to the knockouts, you want as many of your teams, even the sort of lower ranked teams, if they can be the sort of surprise package and get through to the knockouts, you've got every chance of doing well. So yeah, basically points that get rewarded to each person. Based on how their team performs. So in a way, it's also like a league table. It's 3 points to win, point for a draw, that sort of structure. And then once you get through to knockouts, it literally will just be win or lose. But yeah, the prize up for grabs. The top prize are given away. All is courtesy of the football club. So yeah, top prize is match day hospitality for 2 at a fixture next season. Second place, this will be quite a good one unless you're a bit Canberra shy, but if not, then a real chance to have a bit of fame. You'd be on the official Whitby Town team photo for 2026-27. That doesn't mean you become a player, but you'll still feature on there when it gets posted on social media. And then the third prize is a club shop bundle. So, plenty of various bits of merchandise in there. So if you haven't got much Whitby Town merch, then now is a good chance to get it if you finish third in the competition. But yeah, the deadline, as I mentioned, is to enter is 9 a.m. this Thursday. So do make sure you get your entries in sooner rather than later if you want to get involved in that. But yeah, just £10 per entry and a chance to just have a bit of fun with some fellow supporters.
Thank you very much to Liam Ryder for joining me on this week's episode, as well as Paul Connolly from Zurich Airport, and to all our new signings as well, and I'm sure they'll continue throughout the summer. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more here on the Codcast. Bye for now.